When wanting to create the most realistic skin for a surface, that look will typically be achieved by adding one or more pictures into the material that you're creating. That's right, it's usually just a simple image that makes the material look the way that it does. When a picture or image is used in the material making process, 3ds Max typically refers to that image as a map, or sometimes the term bitmap. And a map can be used to control a wide range of surface attributes or characteristics. Everything from an object's main body color to the texture or roughness a surface might have. You can even use a map as a way to make a reflection on an object's exterior, or as a way to control what specific areas on a surface look transparent or opaque. Every visual characteristic a material can have can be controlled by a map. Here's how it all works. When building a complex material, and by that I'm simply referring to something that may be more than just a solid color and a smooth surface, something that incorporates some kind of design or pattern in its look. When building that skin, how or where you plug a particular map in will determine just exactly what effect that map will have on the overall appearance of the material. You see, the same map used in one slot on a material will give a completely different result than the same map used in another slot. By slot, I mean something like the material's body color, or level of bumpiness, or whether or not you can see a reflection in the surface. You know, it might make a little more sense if you start thinking of a complex material as being like a tree that has a series of branches, with each branch of the tree controlling a different aspect of the material's overall appearance, and each branch capable of holding a picture that can then be used to control a particular part or component of the skin's overall look. You load a map on a branch, and the specific branch you load it on then determines how that map will be used or how it will affect the look of your material. Whether it controls the color, the texture, the reflection, so on and so forth. When everything combines together, you've got the look for the skin that you've constructed. Any map can be used on any branch, but each branch will use that map in a different way and for a different reason. I think it'll all make more sense after we work on a couple of examples. We'll do that using a file named Complex Material Build. You can find it in the Working Files folder for this chapter. Okay, let's build ourselves a skin. That'll all start by opening up our paint shop, the Material Editor. You can do that by simply tapping the M key on your keyboard. Now, here's an interesting question that I've probably fielded 100 times over the years. Just exactly when do you apply a material that you've built? Do you make it first, then slap it on? Or do you instead just apply the blank, dropping a gray sample skin on your object, then building in what's needed? Honestly, you can go either way. Personally, I've gotten into the habit of applying my skins before I begin slapping them together. Reason being is because I've hit that darn render button far too often, only to notice, after the fact, that I've mistakenly forgot to throw the skin in place. So go either way you want. Build it first or apply it first. Just make sure that both are done before you start taking a look at your scene. Let's go ahead and drag the currently selected sample slot onto the object in our scene. With that now in place, we can jump up on the diffuse color swatch, changing the color. Why don't we make it a light blue? That can be done by taking the blue slider all the way to the right and the red slider furthest to the left. Let's now convert our perspective view to an active shade. Now you can find out more on how that works in the chapter on rendering if you need a little brushing up. For now, just know that the cool thing about active shade is that once cranked up, anything we change on our material will automatically trigger the image regenerating, re-rendering the scene, in other words. To activate the feature, we'll go to the upper left-hand corner, clicking on Perspective. 3/4 of the way down the menu, we'll choose Extended Viewports, then Active Shade. Now, anything we change in our material will automatically be updated in the rendered view. Why don't we add a little shine to our object? We'll take the specular level to 65 and the glossiness to 25. Okay, now we're going to add a little more detail into our skin by adding a map into the branch of our material tree that controls the surface's main body color. Now think about this. What at this moment is controlling our object's color? The diffuse color swatch, right? If we can add a picture into that branch of our tree, the picture will take over for the color swatch. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we can get a map into that place. One is to click on the small gray box just to the right of the color swatch. That box is called the Map Shortcut button. The other technique would be to open the map section a little farther down in the editor and load things from there. Let's do that. What you see are all the branches on our tree, each one capable of taking on a map, and each branch using that map, if loaded, in a different way. Look specifically at the branch names. Which one do you think controls the main body color on our material? The diffuse color branch, right? Makes sense? To load an image on that branch, we'll simply click on the None button to the right of the diffuse color name. You're telling Max that you want to replace the diffuse color with something other than the color of the color swatch. What opens is a browser, which now gives you the opportunity to choose from a variety of map types, bitmap images being only one of those choices. That'll be the type we'll use here. To make that selection, go ahead and double-click on the name Bitmap. Max is now wanting to know where the picture that we're planning on loading is located. Now, the one I'm going to use is in the Working Files folder. I've got that folder on my computer's desktop. In the Look and List at the top of the dialog, I'll navigate to that Working Files folder. From there, I'll then open Chapter 11. Okay, let's use the picture named Wood Boards. Before we load it though, let's single-click on the picture, then in the lower left-hand side of the dialog, we'll click on View. This gives us the opportunity of seeing just exactly what the image looks like. We can then close that up, then click on the Open button down on the right-hand side. There you go. The map has automatically taken over for our original light blue color swatch. Now, in scanning the view, two things have changed. We've got our wood material showing in the active shade, and the material editor now has a completely new set of controls. Let's make sure that we're clear on just exactly how things are organized in the editor. Directly below the sample slots on the left-hand side, you'll notice that we've now jumped up on the material's diffuse color branch, where we have a bitmap loaded. The name of that map being listed directly below in the bitmap parameter section. If we want to see the map, we can simply click on View Image. You'll find that down on the lower right-hand side. The controls that you see are all specifically designed to help in adjusting the map that we've got loaded on this particular branch. We can adjust the image's size, the direction the pattern points, all kinds of things. Let's go ahead and close our active shade for just a moment. We can do that by positioning our mouse in the view, right-clicking, then choosing Close. Now, even though the map has been applied, we can't see it in our shaded viewport. That's a quick fix. On the right-hand side of the horizontal row of icons, you'll want to click on Show Shaded Material in Viewport. That adds the bitmap directly into our shaded view. Okay, let's reactivate our active shade. Now, if you're not too fancy on the skin's design, maybe wanting to change it to something else, that too is an easy adjustment. All you got to do is switch pictures. Down in the Bitmap Parameters category, locate the Wood Boards map. To change the map out, you'll simply click on that long gray button. Staying in the Chapter 11 folder for the working files, let's this time choose Brick Red. To experiment with a few other images, let's again click on the Bitmap button below Bitmap Parameters. The entry ends with the name of our currently loaded map, that being Brick Red. Let's try the plaid design. We'll go in again, this time choosing Dirt. Each time we make the change, the new map is loaded in pretty much real time. Let's also see the way things would look if we loaded the Metal Corrosion map. And we'll finish things off with loading Pellets. So that'll give you a little idea as to how to go about adding maps, and how to specifically control an object's main body color or design. Now, do you remember how a couple moments ago I was saying that any map can go on any branch of the tree, but each branch would use that map in a slightly different way? Well, take a look at this as I simply move our currently loaded map from one branch to another. To go back to being able to see the complete branching structure of our material, on the horizontal row of icons, far right, I'll click on Go to Parent. Switching our map from one branch to another can now simply be done by dragging and dropping. The map, the pellet picture in other words, is now being interpreted in a completely different way. This time, helping to control the shine element on the skin. So each branch will use the image in a different way and for a completely different reason. Here we're controlling the object's transparency. Now we're using the map to create a bumpy texture. That texture then being able to be adjusted more aggressively if needed. You can even use the same map on several branches all at the same time. Here we're combining the body color and the bump, taking the bump value a little bit higher to get more of a dramatic result. We can even add the pellet map in as a reflection. Once loaded, then being able to adjust that reflection amount. All in this case by way of a single map. The individual branches can then easily be turned on and off by using the checkbox to the left of their names. So it's going to get fun. All you got to do is take a little time to get the hang of things, and you'll be creating very realistic, very believable skins in no time. I'm going to go ahead and save this out as Complex Material Build Completed if you'd like to go in for a look.